The graphics we've been working towards creating is this. It's basically an animated demo of a nested for loop. And as far as we got last time was this, creating these 5 empty rectangles. And what we want to do this time is look at the pointers that are to the side of the rectangles that show how the directories are being moved. So the incremental program of today is to create these 12 triangles that are all pointing at the rectangles in a static manner. We'll look at how to animate them in a later video. The code we've created so far to create the rectangles was this. It's a simple for loop that uses a draw rectangle to draw all 5 of the rectangles, and it uses a pen of called pen black. And if you look closely at these coordinates, they're essentially the upper left corner of the rectangle. So it's the x is 300 and the y is IY times 100, and IY is going from 1 to 5. So the first coordinate would be 300 comma 100, which would be this upper corner. And then the size of the rectangle is 80 by 80. It's a square. So this bottom corner would still be 300 because it's the same x coordinate, but the y coordinate would be 180. And this triangle we want to be centered between these 2 y coordinates. So halfway between 100 and 180 is going to be 140, and the size of this rectangle would fit in, or the size of this triangle would fit in a square that's 20 by 20. So in terms of the y, we want this to be 140 minus 10 for the top, so that'd be 130, and 140 plus 10 for the bottom, so that'd be 150. And in terms of the x, we want this to be minus 20 for the size of the triangle, and then minus another 10 because you don't want the triangle to be fitting right up next to the box. So these coordinates would be 270 comma 130, and the coordinates of the bottom corner would be 270 by 150. And the center point that actually points to the rectangle would be 290, since it's 20 in for the size of the triangle, by 140, right at the center, pointing at the rectangle. And correspondingly, we'd add 80 to the x to get the coordinate of the right side of the box, so that'd be 380 by 100, since the y would stay the same, and the bottom coordinate would be 380 by 180, since the x would stay the same but the y would increase by 80 for the size of the rectangle. And this triangle would be plus 30, so it would be 410 for the x, and 130 to have it centered, plus or minus 10 for the 20 size of the pointer. and the bottom coordinate would be 410, 150 for the center of 140 plus 10 for the size of the rectangle and the triangle, and the apex of the pointer would be 390, which is 10 away from the edge of the box, and 140, which points right to the center of the box. There's two other characteristics we need to look at with the pointers. We've already looked at their position and their size, but in addition to this, there's the fact that they're filled in, they're solid, as opposed to the rectangles, which are just outlines that are hollow in the center. And also their color, one's black and one's red. So for the outline rectangles, we used a pen, which was pen black, and then we used a method called draw rectangle. For the solid figures, there's another whole set of methods that begin with fill rather than draw, and rather using a pen, they use a brush. So we need to put in two what's called solid brushes. I'll just paste those in. One is SB black for the black color, and one is SB red for the red color. And then we instantiate these in the form load. First instantiate it with solid brush with color black, color.black, and then a solid brush with color.red. Then we need to define a series of arrays of points to define the 3 points of the triangles. So these arrays, we have 6 for the left side, or the 2 pointers, which are the black triangles, and 6 for the right side, or the from pointers, and these are the red triangles. And really we only need 5, because the 2 pointer can never go to the bottom directory and the from pointer can never go to the top directory, but just to be symmetrical we might as well do 6 by 6. And we're already using the step pointer to create the empty rectangles, the outline rectangles. So why don't we use the run button to create the solid triangles. These would be a series of methods on the graphics object called fill polygon. And the first parameter is the solid brush, and we have a solid brush of black for all the black triangles on the left, and then a solid brush of red for all the red triangles on the right. And then we reference our array of pointers, 3 points in each of the pointers, and these arrays are all defined as a second parameter. So if we compile and run this, and we press the step, the 5 rectangles appear, and we press the run, and the 12 pointers appear. And next video we're going to be looking at how we can make the pointers disappear, which is the one of the other things we need to create an animation. We need to make it appear and disappear, and then we need some controlled way of determining where it is when it appears and disappears. But I'll leave that for the next tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a lot, and I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe.